Welcome to The Pleasure Priority with me, your host, Amber Taylor. This is the podcast focused on putting you first because let's be real, sis, settling just ain't it. So every episode, we're exploring your relationships, aka the ways in which you relate to everything around you so that you can improve your quality of life. Whether it's your relationship with yourself, your family, your friends, a partner, your job, or even how you relate to money, time, your body, whatever. We're diving deep into how you can curate your relationships to get the most joy and fulfillment from life without compromise. So, to my friends ready to prioritize your pleasure and never settle again, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to the Pleasure Priority Podcast. All right, y'all, we are jumping right into it because today we're talking about avoidance. I wanted to first start with the difference between avoidance and procrastination because they are very similar, but I think two different things are happening, or, more than two. But a couple things are happening differently, so I really just wanted to talk about that difference first. So procrastination is to delay or postpone an action. Essentially, to just put off doing something. Key here, it's something that you will do or that you have to do later, but you just keep pushing it off, usually waiting for that final deadline to make an appearance before you actually start doing something. Whereas avoidance is to keep away from something or stop oneself from doing something. So there is no intention to do it later. There is no intention to come back to it. It's straight up nope, not trying to do this, not trying to look at it, not trying to be a part of this, just straight up avoidance. All right? Okay, so now that we got those definitions out the way, I clearly procrastinated this week in recording this podcast. If you are watching the video, you can see me in my big snuggly hoodie blanket because we're down to the wire and I wasn't trying to get changed or look cute or do anything. I was just trying to get this done. And that's because I procrastinated this week. So, on my usual recording day, I had a little datey date and then of course I had to get my back blown out. So here we are. But still got an episode for you today, so I hope you enjoy it. But anywho, today we are talking about avoidance. So not the I'm going to get to it later, I'm going to push it back, but the I'm not trying to do that shit at all. So let's get into it. I have been finding that my clients have been avoiding a lot. I've been noticing a theme with my clients that a lot of people are avoiding a lot lately, so might as well just make an episode about it. In my experience, I usually find one of three reasons as to why someone is avoiding something. So first we have the fear-based driver, and then this one, you're avoiding because you're usually trying to avoid claiming a reality that you don't want because something scares you about it. So that's going to be, you don't try the new thing because what if you fail? You don't try to go date or get that new job that you want or make that new friend that you think is super cool because what if you get rejected? What if they tell you they don't like you? Or what if they confirm your beliefs that you're not good enough? So in fear of seeing that reality and having to accept it as true, you just avoid the entire situation so you don't have to come to that decision or have to come to that realization that what you don't want is actually happening. Usually in this place, you're thinking that things would be or should be different, and you have a hard time accepting the way they actually are or the gaps between where you are, where reality is, and where you want it to be, and you have a hard time accepting that. So you just isolate, ignore, and avoid. Now the second bucket is very similar to the first, but it's a safety-based driver. And this is when you're avoiding because there's an outcome that you don't want. And I separated these two out because yes, you can be fearful of an outcome, and not do it because you're scared. But also, you can not do something or avoid an outcome from a place of safety or trying to be safe, which is a little different from avoiding fear. So this one usually revolves around not feeling safe. So this person is feeling uncomfortable or unsafe to take a risk, to try a new thing, to deal with any uncertainty. And honestly, even to deal with the certainty of something that they don't want to experience. So these people think avoiding is going to keep them safe. So that's why they're doing it. And finally, the third bucket is a desire-based driver. This is when you just don't want to do that shit. So this is when you avoid because you don't actually want the thing, or you're avoiding because you don't want to do the work or whatever it takes to get the thing, because you don't see that final thing as worthy or deserving or worth it of all the work or all you have to go through and put in to get it. So you avoid. This person has dissonance between what they say they want and what they actually want. Now, this dissonance can happen for a multitude of reasons, but the important thing to understand is what you actually want. And then you can get into why you've been denying it to yourself, what you've been putting above your own wants, your own desires, your own needs. So you can do some reprioritization. Okay, so those are the three drivers, essentially the reasoning behind why we avoid. But how do we fix it? How do we stop avoiding? Well, friends, of course, you know I got you. So for driver one, the fear-based driver, what we need to do here is give ourselves compassion and acceptance. Honestly, these things work for everything. I think each of us just needs to give ourselves some more compassion and acceptance, but why it works specifically here is, one, we are acknowledging our fears. We're not judging ourselves for having them. We're not shaming ourselves because we should be over this by now, or so-and-so can do it, so why can't I, and da-da-da-da. Like, no. We have compassion, like, damn, wow, you are really scared of that. It makes sense why you're scared of that. It's okay that you've been scared of that. I understand why you may be scared of that because of what you've been through, because of what it means to you, because of what you're making it mean. It makes sense. And it's just okay. So that level of compassion and that level of acceptance of just like, okay, this is my fear. This is what it is. This is what I'm scared of. This is why I'm avoiding things. Then you can actually do something about it because you see it and it's not some big scary monster. It's not this horrible part of yourself that you have to change. It's a part that just exists, that's just real, that you can just take care of. It's okay to be scared of shit. We're human. Of course we're scared of shit. Of course we're scared of shit that doesn't even make sense. Again, we are human and we have evolved from so many other factors of things that were just trying to kill us. If you look at the history of humanity and how far we've come in recent generations for just staying alive, staying safe, access to food, water, housing, away from the elements, away from a lot of dangerous animals, things like that, even the way that we get our food, source our food, cook our food, all that type of stuff. It's gotten a lot easier to survive. And I know this isn't the case for everybody, but for a majority of people, it's gotten a lot easier to survive to the point where our brains cannot keep up with the evolution. They're still freaking out about some shit that's going to kill us because they've been programmed and have spent hundreds and hundreds of generations solidifying that we need to be scared of shit to survive. And now we're not scared of the impending winter. Where are we going to get food? This bear's chasing us. Are these berries poisonous or not? Like, we don't have to worry about that kind of stuff anymore, but our brains still need to worry because that's what they're designed to do. That's what they're here for. And if they're chilling, like, oh yeah, totally fine, nothing to worry about, your brain thinks you're going to die. Like, that's why it gives you so much to worry about. And that's why these worries seem like minuscule, because your brain's literally reaching for something to be like, okay, we got this together. Are we gonna make it? Are we gonna stay alive? So that's what you're competing against. That's what we're all competing against. And it's okay to be scared. We got to have compassion and acceptance for those fears so we can actually do something about it. Like, if you're so scared that your neighbor thinks that you look stupid when you do your fit checks every day, that's not going to kill you. It's a real fear that you need to acknowledge, accept, have compassion for, so you can actually do something about it. But you also need to recognize the fears that are just a side effect of your brain and looking for something to do, and the fears that are actually an impediment to your health or your life and can ultimately threaten your survival. Figuring out the differences between these fears will not only just help you with avoidance, but with so much else too. And for that second driver, that safety-based driver. So how to combat this one, how to solve for this one, or this driving factor of avoidance, is support. It's because you're feeling a lack of safety, and then you're feeling discomfort from that lack of safety. So what you need is to be supported, is to be resourced, is to feel safe again. And we are responsible for creating our own safety. And again, caveat, when I say this, I mean our own emotional safety. It's our responsibility to create and protect. Yes, other people can impede on our own safety based on their actions, their decisions, and all that kind of stuff, which is not in our control. But what is in our control is how we respond to it. So we do have a lot more control over our safety than a lot of us give ourselves credit and autonomy for. So I did just want to give that disclaimer and permission that you get to feel safe in any situation that you want to. You just need to be supported in the right ways to feel safety. So that's the key, support. Figuring out where and why you feel unsafe, and then figuring out how to support yourself into feeling safe in those situations. And supporting yourself may look like actually you taking care of it, you setting yourself up for success, whatever that looks like. If you need to get noise canceling headphones, or if you need to practice grounding and breathing exercises, or if you need to remind yourself of your power and of your choices, or if you need to straight up set a boundary. But you can also be supported or solicit support from others. If you need a buddy to go with you somewhere, if you need to have somebody check in or know your location, if you need to call your best friend or your coach and say, hey, I'm about to do this big scary thing, or hey, I've been avoiding this thing because I don't feel safe, I don't feel comfortable doing it. Can you help? Can you make that process easier? Can you sit with me while I do the thing? All of this is acceptable. All of this and more is within your realm of control to create safety for yourself. But it starts with support. It starts with resourcing. And it starts with understanding what your needs actually are and what's going to fulfill them. So that open line of communication between you and your body. Okay, and then finally, with that desire-based driver, how to solve for it is honesty. You gotta be honest with yourself. You gotta be honest with the folks around you. Because if not, you're going to continue to maintain that dissonance. You're going to continue to hold saying that you want the thing, or telling people that you want the thing, or planning to go get the thing, but not having the desire to actually do it. So you don't. You just avoid it. Like, if you're not honest, then you're going to stay in this pattern. The truth will set you free in more ways than one. Like, honesty really is the best policy, and the perfect person to start with is yourself. Gots to be honest with yourself. So how you can start being honest with yourself is noticing how your body feels when you make certain decisions. And this is really opening up that line of communication between you, your brain, and your body, because our body holds so much wisdom that we often ignore and bypass because of our conditioning, because of our socialization, because of what other people have told us that makes us ignore and avoid our own wisdom. So I want y'all to try an exercise. I used to do this all the time and I absolutely love it. But it's a way of practicing feeling truth in your body. So what you're going to do is stand up, close your eyes, and say a fact. Say something that is very true for you that you do not question at all. And just notice what happens in your body. Notice how it moves, how it doesn't move, all of that kind of stuff. So you'd say something like, my name is Amber. I am a Black woman. I am in New York. Like, just things you know are true. You don't have to argue with yourself about, none of that kind of stuff. And this is our control test of just speaking truth, speaking things we know are true, things that we don't need to question, and seeing how our body responds to it. Now, your body can respond a few different ways, of course, but usually there is either motion or the absence of motion, usually within like a little swaying motion or a leaning motion, literally like a pendulum. For me, it's either I lean forward in truth, or I stay still and sometimes lean back in untruths. So for example, if I said, I'm Amber, I would lean forward. Or if I used the statement, I am a Black woman, I would lean forward. Or like, that's what my body does. So noticing what your body does when you are in truth. And then also noticing how you feel. What's happening in your stomach? What's happening in your chest? What are the physical sensations in your body that help you piece together the story around what you're feeling and what you're thinking? So then when you have the control of knowing what your body does in truth, then you can start throwing some lies at it. So some stuff that you know is like absolutely not true. So me saying like, I am a dolphin, like definitely not true. Like, what happens when I feed my body a lie, when I feed my brain a lie? And also remember, these are not questions. Like, you're not asking about like, am I a dolphin? No, these are statements. So you are framing the words and positioning them as truth and seeing how your body responds. So when you position a lie as truth, what does your body do? Usually, as I said before, mine will either stay still, or if it's something like really off kilter, like a fuck no, then I'll drop back or like back away from it. And I'm specific around saying what happens for me because it's different for different people. Some people moving forward is a no. Some people sway sideways. Some people feel other things. This is why you have to do that control test to see what is true for you. And also, this is the other side of the control test of what's true for you and your body when you're not in truth. But yes, so you're gonna say a lie as if it's truth and then notice what your body does with it. And then finally, when you have these control tests of how your body responds in truth and how your body responds in lies, then you can really ask the questions that you're looking for the answer to, but still you're forming them as statements. So that thing that you're avoiding, let's say that it's, I don't know, you promised your friend that you were going to go with them to this thing that you have really no desire to go to, but you feel obligated because you said you would and all this type of thing. So then just say, I'm going to this event on X date at X place. Like, just say it as truth and see how your body responds. See if it's a fuck yes. See if it's a fuck no. See if it's indifferent. And then when you practice knowing what your yeses are and what your nos are and honoring them and acting within them, you're going to stop avoiding because you're going to have a true path of what to follow, what to do. But you're also going to be more connected with walking in your authenticity and walking in your purpose. Literally, there are no downsides to being honest with yourself, at least in my eyes. All right, y'all, but that is the episode that I have for you today. Stop avoiding shit. If you realize that you're avoiding things in your life, figure out which driver you're in, whether that be the fear-based, the safety-based, or the desire-based driver, and then support yourself accordingly. We don't have to stay stuck. We don't have to stay here. And we certainly don't have to be in the same place this time next year. Click the link in the show notes to hop on a consultation call with me where we can actually discuss how you're going to be different next year, how you are going to change, how you are going to become the person that you've desired to be for years, and how you're actually going to get there. Deal? Deal. All right. So I'll see you next week, friends. Until then, stay pleased. Bye. Thanks for joining me for this episode of The Pleasure Priority. I hope that when you see things can be better, you're inspired to do better. Because remember, you deserve nothing less than an abundance of joy, fulfillment, and all the peaceful good vibes. If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Oh, and hey, make sure you're on my email list for more tips, laughs, story times, community, and all things pleasure. So until next time, keep living life on your terms because settling is for the birds. All right, stay pleased, my friends. I'll see you soon.